We are talking AI targets today, and this is Can We Chat? This podcast has been made possible by our sponsors, CA-IDPAshooters, responsible training for the competitive minded, and Fast Path Firearms Training, because safety is no accident. Can We Chat is a conversation recapping IDPA events, competitive gun rules, performance tips, products, and what's going on in the gun community. My name is Paul G, and this is
Anthony Vega.
What's going on in the
What's up?
Woo, is it? Wait.
Yeah, you need another sip or two.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here I am. So what's going on? How's your week?
It's been a good week.
Yeah?
I can't complain about the weather. It's been nice and sunny. A little bit of rain yesterday, but...
Is that strange or what?
Just odd. I was looking at the weather and didn't see anything in the forecast, and all of a sudden it was just dumped on us. So.
I was sitting there like, it's almost like Hawaii. Right?
Wait 5 minutes and the weather change?
Yeah, exactly. So what's new? Anything new?
Not much new. Getting ready for the Western.
Good.
As always.
Yes.
Always trying to get more stuff going on. Seeing what last minute tweaks we do to our gear. Get set up and
be a big one. Yep.
Maybe do a little bit more chrono testing before we go up there. We'll see if Paul has any availability.
What's what do you got some new toys? I see.
Did get some new toys. Going with 365 and trying to get all the advantages we possibly can. Actually went and got the Sharps Brothers grip module. So as you can see, it actually has. Made out of aluminum, which adds about another 5 ounces to the grip module. Also comes with a pick rail and gas pedals. The other thing is it does actually have a little bit larger flared magwell.
Oh my gosh.
The other added advantage that I like about this grip module compared to the standard 365 grip modules is instead of actually having a push pin, it's actually a threaded pin that actually has a size 8 Torx bit that goes through it. So I find that a little bit more secure than maybe a push pin with a little spring tension.
I can't wait. We got to see that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be nice.
All right, let's take a look at that.
Quick, simple introduction on what we have done, added to the P365 that I currently shoot and Bug Division. Break down, throw down your throwdown lever, slide comes off. Nice thing is with the Sharps Brothers, as discussed, it is a T8 screw that goes through the grip module instead of the standard push pin that comes factory from SIG. So you just unscrew it, pin comes out, FCU comes out. So as you can see, it's actually made out of aluminum, which adds about another 5 ounces to the grip module itself, which helps control recoil. To the added bonus of controlling recoil, you actually have gas pedals that will allow you to actually drive the gun forward and keep it under control a little easier. From what I've experienced so far, very nice machining. The only thing I have noticed was the sharp edges on your reloads could potentially stab you pretty decent. But outside of that, very, very nicely done. Really enjoying it. Looking forward to shooting this guy. The other things that you have to be aware of when you run in these Sharps Brothers grip modules are your holster options. The standard SIG grip module holsters that are compatible will not work with the Sharps Brothers modules. So I'm currently running the Me Productions holster, which I opted for the carbon fiber, which I believe was another $5. So far, holster, I haven't done much other than a couple dry fires. They're not a sponsor of the channel or anything of that nature. What I have experienced is they're very fast shipping. I ordered on a Wednesday, it came in Monday, so haven't had any experience with it yet, but we'll see and check it out on the range and see how it does.
I would have to say a game changer. What do you think?
I absolutely think so. Just doing a couple mag release changes and all that with the aluminum frame and the steel body mags, it's very smooth. I was having much issue. Oh yeah, it drops out smooth as silk.
So what do you think the problem was with the last one?
I think with the tolerance stack-ups with polymer frames, under heat, stress, gripping the hell out of them as we do, I think there is slight deformations, which aluminum obviously not going to be able to. That is not going anywhere.
That's specific. So. Yeah, absolutely. So cold weather versus hot weather, you're going to...
Yeah, I mean, then, we're storing our guns in bags. Who knows what gets stocked up on top of it. Oh. All our ammo and everything else. These guns are small, so I think there could be potential with some issues when things like that happen. On top of that particular grip module was laser engraved. So obviously when you introduce heat to that, there could be more deformation in the polymer itself.
So let me see the holster. Yeah. So so who's the company that takes care of this?
Me Productions.
Me Productions.
Yeah. So what was nice is included with their holster, they had these little flyers. So anybody wants to check them out, like I said, mentioned earlier, not a sponsor of the channel or anything, but so far what I've seen,
great quality.
Great quality.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was ordering the holster, being that I plan on changing the slide out later, I was actually adding some one of their little chat deals, and they responded right away.
Really?
Like I said, so far I haven't talked to anybody personally over there, but the little interactive live chat that they had answered my questions right away. Ordered it that Wednesday, and it was here Monday morning. So.
And this is specifically for the gas pedals, that's right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're designed holsters for these specific grip modules.
Do they make holsters for any other gun, just the 360?
No, they make them for all kinds of different guns. I know they specifically made it for this, which obviously I would have to run now. So it was on Sharps Brothers website. That's how I ended up finding them. So if anybody's looking at these grip modules, at least you know a company that you could search off right off the bat.
Awesome.
And at least know that, in my experience, had a great positive interactions.
Great find, man. Great find. So so which brings us to our main topic, right? So AI targets.
AI targets, or I guess mostly AI targets, automated.
Actually, it's programmable and it learns. So
really, I know you had a little bit more in depth where I was just a dummy behind the gun shooting at it.
So Jordan's been talking, calling, texting, all this other stuff, and we've been communicating about his thing. And apparently, I don't get just enough of it, right? I need to know a little bit more
the integral workings of everything around it.
Yes. So we're talking about toasttargets.com, and they came out with a product that may take IDPA to a whole different level. So we're taking static targets and the usual things, right?
Yeah.
Swingers and turners and dropouts and so forth, and making them a little bit more realistic.
Well, I think not only realistic, but there is no... When you're working with our drop-down targets that we have, you have weights that fall off that can hang up.
That needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, that needs to be adjusted, but it's not going to do the same exact thing every single time. So could there be a smaller advantage to shooter versus this shooter? Maybe in the morning, maybe after it's been ran.
So consistencies
and the stages.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest game changer that this might actually do to the shooting community.
It's very specific, and it runs as long as the battery is there, which I've noticed that it's only there for 4 hours. So I'm thinking that they might have to change out the packs or figure that system out.
I mean, is it a rechargeable battery?
Yes. Well, they're still working out the bugs. So
it is in its infant stage.
Right. So we are. So we usually shoot from. Well, I set up in the morning. By the time we're set up and everything goes, you're looking at. I'd say a battery that takes care of 10 hours would probably cover it.
Yeah.
Right, or 2 batteries, right? So
2 batteries, or I mean, is it once it's on, it's just completely running the batteries, or it's only when it's moving? So you got to figure.
That's a great point. Yeah, great point. So I don't think it's doing anything. It's just kind of on standby, right?
So running very little battery life.
Right. Very, if any, right? So I'd say like 8 hours would probably be more than enough. So it is remote controlled. Right. So one of the conversations I had with Jordan, it's Zumwalt, right? Zumwalt.
Yeah.
So Jordan, NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker.
Might be a semi-large man.
And he's so even-tempered too, right? So, but he was saying that the targets itself can be triggered in multiple ways. So I was telling them that IDPA, it's either the SO starts it or the shooter themselves starts
Correct.
it. And he was sitting there like, oh no, you can set it up with light beams or laser beams.
Okay.
You just walk through them and it starts, right?
So I know Nationals, 2 years ago, they had a little micro switch that was in the car that you could actually let go, and as soon as you let go, it hit this drop-down turn. So something like that, rather than having a micro switch that activated a falling something or other.
Right.
This could actually activate that target, I'm
Right.
assuming, as well. Now.
So I know the IDPA match in Florida, the
Okay.
space, right? So they do a lot of the NASA engineers are out there. They like to shoot IDPA. So I know that they're starting to get into those types of targets, right? Hydraulics, laser beams, trigger lights, and all this other stuff. And
Sharks with freaking lasers on their heads.
oh, if you guys haven't shot the space, right? I believe it's IDPA space, right? So in Florida, I highly suggest we try to go look at that, right?
So we're going to Florida?
I think so. I think we're going to Florida. But they're dipping into technology, right? And they're starting. I guess the static targets, the paper targets, are just getting old, I guess, right? So I'm wondering if any of the other shooting venues are considering this.
I mean,
USPSA
if you
or IPSC or
very well could be. I mean, you always see this evolution of guns and all that.
Right.
We've been shooting the same kind of targets, same kind of arrays. There hasn't been much that's really changed as far as targets. And,
Right.
yeah, you can change scenarios, but
Right.
as far as targets goes, this might be that cutting edge to where now we have something advanced in our targets
Right.
rather than just plain old sticks and...
So we went to, so they invited us out to the range last week, and so we went. The first look at the thing, what did you think?
I wasn't sure what to expect because we just saw this black target and we're like,
barrier,
all right, well,
right?
what does this do? Like, we weren't
Right.
sure how it works,
Right.
what's going to happen. So
Right.
we actually got a quick little preview of these things just darting out.
Right.
So
And it was just like plywood, setting
Yeah.
up the barriers, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So and then when they started it, right, I sat there going, oh my God, it was only like an 8-inch target,
8-inch target with a little bit of backing behind it.
It just clears the barrier, right?
You got about
and then it's gone.
60 something percent of that target.
I sat there going, oh my God. So
And it was fast. By the time you
Yeah.
end up realizing that's the site it went out to, because you had 3 different options.
Right.
So for me, I was just kind of setting my gun right in the center of it.
Yeah.
And kind of get a broad spectrum of, all right, well, I'm not focused here. I'm kind of focused all around it. So that way I could just move my gun in the direction that it was needing to go and not kind of trying to play peekaboo. And, it's kind of like a whack-a-mole.
Right. It was.
It was great. I mean, most people go to the arcade to pay to smack these little things. Well, we actually
But
got to shoot 'em.
at first glance, I mean, that's exactly what it felt like, arcade thing, right?
It did. And that's where I think obviously this thing could be programmed. So I think for ease of use, that programming that we experienced that time
Right.
was a great little fun interactive deal to where, most people that go interact with a target, they're
Right.
not sure what to do. So
Right.
I think it was a great entry,
Yeah.
which I hope they invite us again, maybe the Speed King shooting team, and come out and actually get a little bit more input, and we actually
Right.
get to play with it the way we actually would use it. So.
Well, they're actually in the process right now. They're talking
Really?
to Cal-IDPA shooters. They're going to provide one for a match.
Really?
And not just for the team, but for everybody who shoots Cal-IDPA. They're going to bring it out. They're going to shove it into one of the stages. Leaf is trying to design a stage around the target and to see how it's going. They're talking parameters. How I believe it's going to come out. It's going to hold, right, and it's going to go away, and then it's going to come out and hold.
That's exactly what we're looking for, because that's the other downfall with a lot of the swinging targets is you get one great look at it, and then the momentum starts slowing down to it. Eventually you won't get any looks at it at all.
Right.
So being able to actually program this thing to
Right.
consistently stay out would actually help out a lot of the entry-level shooters that are, don't have that reaction time, but can stand there and still make their hits.
Right. So they have like 20 pre-programmed motion patterns already instated in it. The other one is you can put random, right? And then that's where the AI comes in, where it'll just figure out how to move on its own, but it moves smoothly, slowly, or fast, right?
I did notice some of that when I was shooting.
But it's very consistent. It's supposed to mimic a biologic, right? So somebody actually, moving on you, right? So, so the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I saw a quick of the video clip. I thought that was absolutely amazing.
So, yeah, I sat there and went, oh, so this is already out being utilized, right? So,
yeah.
But I like their format, how it comes up, sits there,
kind of sit there,
right?
makes you think about it,
to problem solve, right? To engage or not, right? And then it comes out, and then you have one, and it turns out that he doesn't even have a weapon, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh,
whoops!
Thank good I didn't shoot him, right? So
yeah.
So
make front page of the news.
So, so what do you think if this makes it out? What's going to happen to all the swingers and
I think there'll still be some of those, but I think on the big scale, big matches, I think that's going to play a bigger part in it because now there is no advantage to it. It is consistent. Every stage is going to be the same exact setup
for every shooter. Yeah.
Not just, oh, well, let's grease this up a little bit more. The lines get stretched when, they're activating a still faller to where, it may or may not fall every single time. So, just the headspace of a stage malfunction is a big issue that, what was it? There was one match, I think one guy ended up reshooting the stage like 6 times in a row or something.
Nationals, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was brutal. Imagine his headspace at the end of it going, oh, I've shot this thing how many times now, and there will not be any more of that with a target setup like that.
Yeah, I didn't even want a part of that. So that was a huge disruption, and it cost a lot of time and effort for the staff.
For staff as well. And, it slows down your match completely. Yeah.
Can you imagine how much freedom seeds he used for that thing?
I think they actually kicked him down some box handlers.
They did. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Which is good on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But going through it 6 times, I think I would lose my.
I would be getting a little hot at that point. Just the constant start and restart.
Absolutely. So we'll see. I know that there's room for it. There's a lot of questions to be asked. Well, cost would be one of them.
Cost would definitely be one of the big ones. Storage. But you also got to think of cost versus reward. To have no questions in your match anymore, making sure that your stage setup.
Right.
Like you just set this thing up and you're done. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, how much weight do I have to put on this?
Yes.
Is these weights going to work? Is this swinger going to hit here?
Yeah.
I think stage setup saves massive amounts of time, which time is money. And
just roll this in,
roll it in, set it up,
roll it out.
Let it go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would be thankful for something like that.
I know you would, as long as anybody else that's ever helped set up a stage. And if you haven't, why don't you come out and try it? Because it's a whole new world.
So we'll have to see. But I can't wait to actually get it to the CA-IDPA and
so you're saying is other people come out to the match and shoot at this thing.
Well, I didn't say that, but
could potentially shoot at this thing.
Thank you. Thank you. So our next video would be my, I believe it's the 100,000 round service on my STI. I finally reached that.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing.
Out of how many years?
5
years.
Yeah, 5 years, I think. 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And still living to tell the tale.
Well, it's definitely loose and, it starts to rattle. It's just kind of like me, right? So.
Then again, look at the old, GI 1911s. Those are rattle traps, but they kept working.
Right.
They were kind of designed that way.
Yeah. So when they, say Glocks are indestructible, right? I sit there and I'm like, well, I have one of those, but it's not necessarily a Glock.
No, and that's pros and cons to a lot of the guns nowadays is they start off at something.
Right.
and slowly morph into something else, especially for competitive use.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, that's great. So, well, thank you very much for tuning in to Can We Chat? Please consider being a part of our shooting community, building relationships around safe gun practice and IDPA competition. My name is Paul G, and this is
Anthony Vega.
Be Safe, and we will see you on the range.
Like, share, subscribe.